So today we are on lesson number 13, and today is Wednesday, December 9th. We're going to be studying expanded notation partial quotients method of division. So basically the expanded notation method for division. And you're going to remember some of the process from when we studied the expanded notation for multiplication just a few days ago. Our learning target for today, I can solve division using expanded notation. Our essential question, why is it important to approach problems using a variety of strategies? We're continuing to build upon our answers to this question as we move along. So I'm going to read this next slide to you guys, and I want you to be thinking about and analyzing the strategy that's being used to solve the problem. So there's a few different slides that I'm going to go through that shows different steps, and I want you to be thinking about and try to analyze, well, how are they actually solving it and what are they really doing? Mr. Hernandez solution strategy. Mr. Hernandez is hosting a barbecue at the park near his house. He plans to invite 192 people to the barbecue and will serve them each a hamburger. If hamburgers come in packages of 8, how many packages of hamburgers should Mr. Hernandez buy? So make sure to pause this video as often as you like so that you can kind of look at and review the actual strategy and to read the problem again if you need to. This is 192 divided by 8. So step 1, 192 divided by 8. So I'm going to go to the next slide, and you'll see that in the orange it shows step 2 for the same problem. And you'll notice that he thought about, well, what number times 8 would give him an answer that's close to 192, close to or equal to 192 without going over. And he thought about the fact that, well, I know 20 times 8 is going to be 160 because 2 times 8 is 16. And I've got a 0 right here, so that 0 would come over here. So 20 times 8 is 160. And then, of course, as we do every time, we have to make a subtraction here. So 192 minus 160 is 32. So that's step number 2. And pause this video again as often as you like so that you can analyze the steps that are being taken. So moving on to step number 3, and in this step, in the pink, you'll see that there's some additional numbers that have been added in. So there's some other numbers that have been added in for this step, and you'll see that Mr. Hernandez asked himself, well, what number times 8 will be get me equal to or close to 32 without going over. So Mr. Hernandez knows his math facts, and he knows that 8 times 4 is 32. So 8 times 4 equals 32. So that 4 he has to put up here. You put it right above the 20, and the answer to 8 times 4 you put down here is 32. So 32 minus 32 is 0. So now we're standing at 0 right here. So we don't have to move any further with this because this is 0. We're not completely done yet. So now step 4. And on step 4, you'll see that Mr. Hernandez knew that he had to add up these partial quotients. So these are considered partial quotients right here. 20 plus the 4 equals 24. So his final answer, the quotient is going to be 24. So how many packages of hamburgers should Mr. Hernandez buy? And the answer is 24. 24 packages is what he should buy. So again, our problem here was 192 divided by 8 using expanded notation. And you'll see on our next slide here, we've got the same problem, but just done a couple other different ways. Okay, we've got the area model. Down here, we did to solve the same problem using the area model. Got the same answer of 24 packages. And up here, using place value drawings using the place value drawing strategy to solve the same problem. So go ahead and pause the video. I want you to take a really close look at how it was solved using these methods. So going back to our essential vocabulary for this unit, guys. So 24 times 8 is 192. So 24 is a factor, 8 is a factor, and the product is 24. And our original problem, remember, was 192 divided by 8. And 192 in that situation is the dividend, 8 is the divisor, and the quotient is 24. And this is the inverse operation of the division problem. So the multiplication one is the inverse operation. This is how we can check our work. Okay, this is how we check our work when we actually did the, after we've done the division problem. So on our next slide, we have some Jamboard practice with expanded notation. Some Jamboard practice using the expanded notation. And this is actually the same as page number 69 in your math binder. So if you can do the work on the Jamboards, which I'm going to show you in just a second, the correct one that you need to be on for this practice. Or if you did it in your book, you got to make sure to take a picture of your work, and you have to include a picture of your work on the slides. For the expanded notation method practice, this is a Jamboard that you're working on first, and it has already been assigned to you by your teacher. So the name of it is right up here at the top, expanded notation method practice. And there are actually two problems on here. You have this first one, and then there's a second one, okay? So the directions for the first one, use the expanded notation method to solve each of the following problems. Check your division solution using a multiplication strategy. The small road leading to Michaela's house is 414 square yards. The road is 9 yards wide. How long is the road? So that's the first one. And the second one, William mowed lawns for 8 days. He was paid a total of $608. How much was he paid each day? That is the second one, and I want you to pause this video and go on and solve both of those. And I will come back and we'll revisit number one. All right, so you've had an opportunity to work on those two problems, and I'll just go over the first one here with you. And I went on and did my cubes on it, circle my key numbers, 414, 9, underline my question, how long is the road? Now, this is not necessarily a question. It says check your division solution using a multiplication strategy. It's not necessarily a question, but I underlined it because it is another part of the problem that you need to answer. Okay, so it's actually telling you to do a different thing. That way you won't forget. So I've got right here 414 divided by 9, and I asked myself, well, what number times 9 is close to or equal to 414 without going over? So 9 times 40 is 360. So when I subtract that, my next step is 54. So now I ask myself, 9 times what number is close to or equal to 54? 9 times 6 is equal to 54. And when I subtract those two is 0, and I made sure to put my 6 right up here above the 40. Now, I needed to add these up for a total answer of 46. So the road is 46 yards long. The road is 46 yards long. And when I check my answer using a multiplication strategy, I used basically it's the inverse operation. So now I can say, all right, so what was my answer here? So the quotient was 46. So 46 times the 9. And when I do that, I get a total of 414, which is the same as this number. So I know that my answers match. And when I check my work here, if they match, that means I did it the correct way. So go ahead and finish up these. So in our next slide here is introducing us to the Jamboard that's going to be, and another Jamboard that's going to be your independent work. Okay. And that's already been assigned to you by your teacher. Now this is the same as the work that's on page number 71 in your binder. And once again, if you do your work in your binder on page 71, you're going to need to take a picture of your work and insert a picture of your work on the slides. If you do it in the Jamboard, your teacher will automatically see your work. Okay, so which Jamboard do you need for the methods of division homework? That's already been assigned to you. This is it. Methods of division homework. And there are, see, this is the first one, second one, third. There are 4 problems on this page. So there's 4 problems on this Jamboard. You're going to need to make sure to follow your instructions and to complete each one before you turn the assignment in. And lastly, this is just our reminder about what independent work do you have. So making sure to complete the independent work on the Jamboards, the previous Jamboards. Also today you got 15 minutes of Khan Academy that's already been assignments that have already been assigned to you, and also 15 minutes of Dreambox that you are required to work on today.